Guide to Shin Pokemon, Options and Toggles. This video will give a quick overview of the various options available in Shin Pokemon version 1.24.0m. Note that not all options are available in the respective light version. Notice how the colors are saturated. This is because the RGB palette values are calibrated for the unlit TFT screen of a Game Boy Color and not the modern screens used today, which are brightly lit. Some emulators include shaders to correct this, but many players are left without recourse. Shin Pokemon includes a built-in shader to address this issue. All you have to do is press select at the copyright screen and a symbol will appear at the bottom right corner. The internal shader is now active and the colors are corrected. Now for the new toggles in the option menu. Press select on the options screen to access the extra menu. From here, you can cycle through the various audio modes just like in Pokemon Yellow. Toggle zero delay text. While active, the regular speed settings will be ignored. This used to be a bug utilized by speedrunners, but has now been implemented as a stable feature. Disable and re-enable switching AI given to certain trainers. This will not affect jugglers who inherently switch randomly. Toggle the 60 FPS overworld feature. This mode works best when played as a Game Boy Color game, as it will utilize the GBC's double speed processor capabilities. Toggle the obedience level cap. Pokemon above the level shown will start to disobey even if the player is the original owner. The cap starts at level 15 and it increases with every gym badge up to level 70. This option should be disabled in the post-game. Hard mode has the following effects. Enemy trainer Pokemon who originally had constant DVs of 8 or 9 now have randomized DVs determined by a random roll twice take highest method. Furthermore, boss trainer DVs will be 8 or 9 at the minimum. Enemy trainer Pokemon also receive level appropriate stat experience, where originally they had 0. Badge boosts are not applied in trainer battles. X-stat items, of which the AI trainers are fond of, increase stats by 2 stages instead of 1. Critical hit chance is also calculated via the Pokemon Stadium formula, making slow base speed Pokemon crit slightly more, and making fast base speed Pokemon crit slightly less. Revive items cannot be used in battle. Wild Pokemon get 1 reroll for any DV they have less than 4. Finally, Wild Mewtwo blocks the usage of a Master Ball, and it selects its moves with Trainer AI instead of randomly like other wild Pokemon. Toggle Nuzlocke mode. When activated, it will set some default options, but the player is free to reset them as desired. Nuzlocke mode follows the Dupe's Claws and the Shiny Claws. If a Pokeball is allowed to be thrown, an up-down arrow symbol will be displayed under the wild Pokemon's name. Nuzlocke mode should only be activated after the player has first obtained Pokeballs, as the system does not inherently know when the player acquires them. Finally, you can turn the color correction shader on or off, so you don't have to restart your game if you change your mind. Shin Pokemon has trouble with universal randomizer programs due to the amount of code that has been changed. To address this issue, a randomizer feature for wild Pokemon has been added. Talk to the girl in Oak's lab in order to toggle it on or off. Randomization uses a Fisher-Yates style shuffle using the player's trainer ID as a seed value. This makes the randomization consistent with the save file, and it will not re-randomize every time the game is booted. This also allows for the area function of the Pokédex to function correctly. Pokemon are shuffled within 3 separate tiers based on how powerful they are, with strong Pokemon replacing other strong Pokemon, and weak Pokemon replacing other weak Pokemon. You will not encounter Tauros in the Viridian Forest. If this feature is activated before choosing a starter, the 3 choices of starter will also be randomized. The Pokemon that do not have a damaging move at level 5, such as Abra or Jigglypuff, are not possible as starters. Talk to the aide in the Viridian City Pokemon Center in order to toggle randomization for enemy roster trainers. This will affect non-special trainers that use a single level value for all their Pokemon and have no custom movesets. This encompasses most of the trainers in the game, such as youngsters, cool trainers, and rocket grunts. Affected trainers will have their rosters replaced with random, non-evolved Pokemon within their own randomization tier. The new Pokemon will be swapped with their evolved forms if at a high enough level, but this level is scaled a bit higher than normal. Pokemon that evolve below level 30 will evolve at 4/3 their original level, and Pokemon that evolve greater than or equal to level 30 will evolve at 8/7 their original level. For example, you will not have to randomly fight a Gyarados until enemy trainer levels reach 26 or higher. Additional notes. The game's 5 legendary Pokemon are excluded from these 2 randomization features. Furthermore, static wild encounters are not affected by any randomization due to being scripted events. Finally, comes the matter of the Game Corner prize Pokemon. These get randomized as well as part of the wild randomization feature. Speak to the left side aide in Oak's lab after obtaining the Pokédex. He will toggle user interface symbols for wild Pokemon. A Pokemon that is registered as owned will have a Pokeball symbol. It will also display as male or female if applicable. Talk to the right side aide to toggle trainer level scaling. Enemy trainers will scale their Pokemon levels to that of the strongest Pokemon in your party. The enemy Pokemon will also evolve if applicable, again favoring later evolution levels. Gym leaders and the Elite Four scale a few levels higher. It is a very bad idea to combine level scaling with the obedience level cap. The player will constantly be exceeding the cap as the levels continue to scale upward. Be forewarned, combining level scaling with hard mode will make for a grueling challenge on a first playthrough. Not every player will find this enjoyable. One house in Viridian City has a group of NPCs called the Claus Brothers. They toggle various battle clauses. There are the Item Clause, the Sleep Clause, and the Freeze Clause. These 3 clauses work as they do per Pokemon Stadium. There is also the trapping move clause. This will cause trapping moves like Wrap to gain negative priority if used more than twice in a row. And finally, there is the Hyper Beam clause. This will restore the effect of Hyper Beam as it originally was in Red and Blue, where it had a bug and it would recharge if it KO'd the opponent. One final toggle this video will cover is a bit of a special cheat feature called the Shimmer. We'll go to the rival's house, and we'll examine the decoration in the corner to turn it on or to turn it off. Without giving away too much, it is a kind of transformation or power-up for a selection of final stage Pokemon that are generally maligned and can be acquired randomly by a player dedicating time and effort into raising one of these maligned Pokemon. These are Pokemon like Onix, Beedrill, Wigglytuff, and Lickitung, to name a few. The Shimmer factor is stored in a Pokemon's catch rate value, which corresponds to the held item value in Generation 2 games. So turning this feature off and on again will not erase the Shimmer factor from a Pokemon that gained it. This concludes an overview of options and toggles that are accessible in the beginning of the game.